Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. So I just want to say thank you to all my old subscribers for hanging in there with me, and welcome to all my new subscribers. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe and hit that notification bell to be notified when I upload videos. So I was watching a video the other day, very interesting stuff from this guy, Leadfarmer73, and he was asking different questions of his live audience about what are they planting, what have they planted, and when do you start your planting. And he was like, if you haven't started planting, you need to start it now. And it was just like a swift kick in the butt, because I had already started my planting, but things like peppers and stuff. And he was like, well, if you haven't started planting your tomatoes, even if they're from seed, you should start planting your tomatoes from seed now, not tomorrow, now. So since my winter garden is looking like this is what I lovingly call my driveway garden. And we plant different things over here. I've done tomatoes, onions, peppers, lots and lots of peppers. In the corner, I will do cucumber. I sit my mint over here. That's my celery that didn't quite get to full strength before snow hit. And then over here is the main area of my garden. That's where I grew my squash last year for the first time on a trellis. It worked out pretty good, not too bad. And this is my main garden here. As you can see, it is covered in several inches of snow. So there will be no growing in this garden until spring comes. But in the corner, in the far corner over there, I did plant my fall garlic, and then I wintered it with a bed of leaves across the whole garden itself. So it is well insulated, so hopefully that will keep the nutrients and everything in the soil, so I don't have to amend it too much come spring. So we like to rotate our crops through the complete area. We don't like to plant the same thing in the same spot year after year, but in such a small space, it kind of gets difficult after a while to come up with new situations or plans for the crops we do grow. That's my compost pile in the corner, if you're wondering. That's what that is. And I have decided that I'm going to try to make as many seedlings as I can this year. What I'm up to today. As you can see, I have quite a bit laid out here in front of me, and I am going to be transplanting some of my seed starts, because as you will see in 2 seconds, to outgrow the little makeshift greenhouse I put them in. So let's get closer to this. Oh, my little makeshift greenhouses. These are some of my peppers, and I planted these on Boxing Day. So you can see not many are coming up, but there is some hope in there. I see a few coming up here and there, so hopefully they'll come up. There's another little one here in the corner coming up. And these plastic covers are so nice. They help to keep the moisture in when you put your seeds in. You don't have to, they don't dry out as much. I didn't run out of the tops, but this is the same container as this one, but the tops crack and break over time. Even this one is on its last legs, as you can see. So I just used a clear plastic garbage bag, and as you can see, it's holding that moisture in there. I don't know if you can see that. Can you see that? It's holding the moisture in, and I planted these 2 weeks ago in the middle of January. So if you want to see, I'm gonna lift them up. These are my tomatoes, and I just used a toothpick, a piece of scrap paper, and some tape, and I put on it how many seeds I sowed in this particular area and just stuck it in there. So I just stuck it right in there so I know. And as you can see, my window is off to the right here because that's where the plants are leaning towards. They're going towards the sunlight. And any more back there? Yeah. Can you see them all back there? They are sprouting. Wow. So I'm going to have to get these transplanted into something a little bigger. And back there is more tomatoes. So I have 2 trays of tomatoes. These are all peppers. That's like a variety of stuff. And these, I have a love-hate relationship with these things. They are great because they're pretty much free. I mean, they're made out of newspaper. And the only thing I don't like about them, if you see this one, they dry out so fast. I'm like constantly watering the paper. Like this one is dry. I don't think these are going to make it. And another thing, I don't know if you can see that, but if you water them too much, they grow mold on them. So yeah, I mean, I just watered these 2 days ago, and the paper and everything is dry already. It's crazy. So I'm going to be working on, here is some, what I call my mini greenhouse. Can you see that? They are starting to sprout. They're pushing up the paper. Here's a purple and green broccoli. And you can see in there, they are starting to sprout. So they need to be transplanted into something else. So when I went out the other day to Home Depot, I found these. And these are kind of nice. I mean, maybe I'll put the tomatoes in here or something, because I'm in the Midwest, so I've got probably another 6 or 8 weeks before I can plant outside, as you saw from my winter garden out there, that it's nowhere near ready to be planted in. So I got some bigger ones. These are pretty big. And then I got some of these little guys, and these were at the dollar store, and there's 12 in a pack here, 15 in a pack here. So I think I got 60 of these, and I think I got 60 of these. So that should hold me. And then I found these at the dollar store. I was thinking I would do something like a soil block and put them, have a couple of boxes here, just some boxes, a box I had, and I cut it in half, do something like that, and I put some holes in the bottom. So I was thinking I would do some soil blocks, and then I have a couple of these bigger boxes. Try to do this one-handed. And they already have like sections, so I was thinking maybe I could do some sections in here. I'm not sure what I'm going to do, but I have a lot of seeds because this year's victory garden is going to be just that. It's going to be a victory. So I have that I need to do. So what I'm going to be doing today is just relocating, trying to get organized here, some of my seeds. These are some seeds I already put up in these containers and in that. And then I have another one of those ones. There's peppers as well. And again, it's kind of dry, but I watered these really well. But as you can see, it's already started to dry out, which is crazy. So I have all these seeds to germinate, start, whatever. I've got basil. Anything I want to start indoors, I'm going to start now. I've actually already pretty much started. This is the last grouping that I don't have any starts for. And my herbs. I usually just, pretty good with the herbs. They pretty much go into the outside containers, and they do pretty good. So I did all my peppers, did all these, and then my onions and celery, especially because I know the celery last year took forever to come up, and then even before it matured, it started to snow. So I needed to start that a lot sooner than I did. So that's what I'm doing here today. And these ones, some of these, like this cabbage, you can see it's starting to sprout. This is cauliflower. The tomatoes don't seem to be doing anything. So I have some tomatoes here, but they don't seem to be doing anything. I have some watermelon seeds, again, not doing anything. I've done this in previous years, not on this scale, maybe like maybe like 6 in total I've done like that. And I usually do them in a Ziploc bags. I didn't have enough Ziploc bags when I went to do this, so I used the saran wrap, and it's pretty easy to just pull up the back and get into it. So I'm gonna be transplanting some of my seeds into these bigger pots today. I have some potting mix and some of my actual compost and stuff, and I'm gonna mix the two and put these into some bigger containers. So you can't really see it. This is actually a purple cabbage. It is in there, but it's really dark. And I put the paper in there and all because the root was coming through. Now for these ones, because so many have sprouted, I decided to go with a bigger container and just put them all in one container together. So what I'm doing here is just lined one of those boxes I had, and I'm just using a toilet paper roll to just get some air down in there. Usually I would put some rocks down if I was doing like just a single container, but because this is going to eventually go into my garden, I want something to decompose, and this will have a little bit of airflow, help a little bit of airflow there, and just keep it so it doesn't get so soggy. And like I said, it's going to go into my garden, and this will eventually break down and become compost, as rocks won't, and then I would have to be digging them out of my garden. So I'm just going to put these all around the bottom, and then I'm going to put some of my soil potting mix in. So I'm being very gentle with these seedlings because the roots on them are very fragile and they will break easily. If they are any paper or anything like that, I just cut around it and put the paper in as well, as you saw me do earlier. I just cut the paper around with it. If they come off the paper with their roots still attached, then that's great. But if I pull it a little bit and it's firmly implanted in there, I'll just cut around the napkin and put everything in there all together. So once I've got all my seedlings in the soil, I just take my little water spritz bottle and I'm just going to give them a good spritz. The soil is damp, but I just want to make sure, and this is where I go wrong 9 times out of 10, I overwater them. So this spritz bottle helps me not to do that. So that's a plus. So here are my transplants that have sprouted so far. And most of it is cabbage. There's that purple cabbage that you can barely see, but most of it is cabbage. I have some kale and some cauliflower. So that's what you're seeing. And then these little guys, I made sure they were still damp. I went through all of them, made sure all of them were still damp. And if they weren't, I would just spritz them, and I would check them every day, every other day or so, and just make sure. And then this is my pepper. It's just some soil I had, just fell in there. And my peppers that I'm going to do like sort of a backup in case the ones I have in soil don't germinate. And then that's my mystery pepper, which I don't know what it is because I picked it. It's something from my garden from year before last, but I forgot to label the bag. I know it's a pepper, but I don't know what kind of pepper. So that's going to be a fun surprise. So this is my seedlings so far, and I'm so happy with these guys. That's my peppers that I have in the soil already, and my tomatoes, and they're doing so good. So I'm so proud of these. So hopefully with a little more sunlight, a little more water, a little more love and patience, they will come up great. And my peppers especially, we go through a lot of peppers. So I have to measure out what we go through and the space we have. And these are all my onion varieties, leeks and onions. And a few of them are coming up, not very many, but usually my onions are slow as well. So that's what I'm working with so far. And I'm especially happy that Leadfarmer73 gave me a little nudge, a little kick in the butt to get going, because I'm a little ahead of the game, which is great. So thank you so much for watching, and you have a great day.